Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I am the Art Whisperer, and on this channel, I do a little something where I like to take art interpretation and discuss it and how it connects to current day life. I do hold a BA in art history, Byzantine studies. I know you're super jealous. Please remember, this is for entertainment purposes only, so let's just have some fun. Now, normally I would pick a piece and then discuss the history and bring it to how things are going on today. But I figured I'd do it a little different. What do we have a lot of going on today? Celebrity gossip. So I figured I'd do a little bit of that, but art history style. So let me tell you, word on the street is that Vincent van Gogh had a problem with someone called Anton because Anton Jean, and Jean hired by Paul, and Paul is Vincent's BFF, AE turned frenemy. Okay, wrap your head around that one. Vincent against Anton, Anton against Jean, Vincent against Anton because of Paul's liking for Jean. Okay, now this sounds like every teenage girl's clique today, and the queen bee is Vincent van Gogh. Now, Vincent van Gogh is the famous painter of The Starry Night and that one self-portrait with his severed ear all like bandaged. He is also famous for various mental disorders. He's been in and out of an asylum. I mean, his entire life, basically, which he died young. But aside from that, he was unsuccessful in love and very popular at brothels, which he did like a nightlife, and that he loved to drink. With everything he loved art, and what he obsessed with more than art were artists. I know, Mr. Queen Bee, not like this, but like that. He was stubborn. He was a hothead. I mean, his nickname was literally Redhead Madman. Okay, why anyone would be friends with someone like that, but to each his own. He became acquaintances with Jean-Francois Millet. He was another artist, and he was famous for doing the black and white technique, which kind of boring, kind of like golf. Vincent was also friends with Anton. Anton von Rappert, another famous painter. He didn't care for Jean in the slightest bit. He didn't like his art, he didn't like his technique, he didn't like his person. Now, Vincent didn't care for him either, but he did appreciate his technique. So there's a slight difference. It's kind of like, I don't like you and I hate you. Kind of difference. The Anton, yeah, he was arrogant. He was a snooty, uppity kind of artist. But as soon as he opened his mouth and discussed his true feelings of Jean to Vincent, Vincent was like, oh no, don't do that again. You see, Vincent had a problem previously with Anton. Anton, as the uppity up, liked to critique other people's work. And not only did he critique, I mean, he criticized this. He tore it left and right. Did you think that would get him mad enough to, end the relationship? No. Mr. Hothead, no. But he did end it because of Jean. See, in a letter that Vincent had written to Anton, do not cross me. So you would think, like, wow, like, why has he got such a, stuck up his butt kind of attitude over someone he really doesn't care for? And that's where Paul comes in. You've got Vincent, who's having a problem with Anton, because Anton has a problem with Jean, who Vincent didn't really care for anyway, but the only reason why he cares for him now is because Paul was infatuated with the person and the technique that Jean had to give. Paul, oh Paul, oh Paul, you give me such a migraine. Now, Paul was a smart man. He knew that becoming friends with someone they called Redhead Madman was not going to harm him in any which way. Unlike Jean and Anton, who were dummies, I mean, why would you be friends with somebody called a Redhead Madman? Why would you become friends with someone like that? You have to be dumb to become friends with someone like that. But Paul didn't care. You see, Paul was actually Eugene Paul Gauguin. Now, Paul was a lot of things. He was a father. an abusive husband, womanizer, arrogant. A lot of things that this guy has on his resume, okay, for being your friend. I would totally want to be in a friendship sandwich with those two. You got the, you know, and then the, you know, and you're just kind of like, you know. So of all those things, I think the worst trait of Paul's was that he was a catch a predator, when you have a seat over there kind of pedophile. Paul traveled a lot. I mean, he went to Panama, Tahiti, and they say married a couple of underage, like 13-year-old girls and having children with them, okay? I mean, he passed around syphilis like people pass around Mentos, the fresh maker, okay? So, he became good friends with Vincent, and Vincent was like honed in, like obsessed. And Vincent begged him, like, come live with me. Paul, like, kind of reluctantly did. You see, Vincent got all excited. He went, he bought 2 beds, and then all of a sudden he had the passion and the energy to start painting. And what he was painting were his famous yellow house pieces. And that passion was because Paulie was coming home. Now, Paul would say that he would wake up in the middle of the night with Vincent standing over him, just watching him. You know, all Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill. It puts the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. You know, kind of creepy. It says that Paul and Vincent were secretly bisexual. And that would make sense because, I mean, Vincent's getting totally obsessed. And if you were totally straight and, like, did not want anything to do with that kind of relationship, you would have moved out first day. But no, he kept it there. I mean, he wasn't there for years, but he still kept staying there. But he was threatening to leave. Now, the original story of how Vincent lost his ear goes like this. He was love struck. He was infatuated, and then his heart was broken, and he had to cut his ear off and give it to the woman of his dreams that worked in a brothel. Then it went to, he got into a fight with his brother, and then he severed the ear and then still gave it to someone in a brothel. And then it went to, now he was getting into a fight with Paul, and then cut his own ear off and then send it to a brothel. All of them end with it going to a brothel. Turns out, based off of letters that were discovered and testimony 15 years after the fact, that Paul was leaving. Paul was like, I'm out of here, bye-bye, you crazy. So Paul is like out the door. Vincent's like, oh no, you didn't, pulls him in, and then they get into a big fight. And this actually like goes out into the street. And they're brawling, and Vincent, remember, redhead madman, pulls out a razor blade and starts threatening Paul. Paul claims that in self-defense, cuts Vincent's ear off. It wasn't the whole ear, as everybody likes to think and claim, but it was part of an ear, kind of like the whole Michael Tyson bit a piece of the ear off, which was really gross. It just he wrapped it up, and yes, he gave it to a woman in the brothel, but it was that brothel that Paul was staying at. Now, why would he do that? He left it there because he was like a scorned lover. Okay, there was too much happening between them for a fight like this to drag out over something as simple as your roommate leaving. No. Paul knew, and Vincent knew that Paul knew that Vincent knew. So, in a letter from Vincent to Paul after the fact, since they never saw each other again after that, was that Vincent says, I will keep quiet about this, and so will you, end quote. Now, Paul eventually wrote about Vincent, and in his letter he says that Vincent was a man with sealed lips. I cannot complain about him, end quote. So sweet. Both of them, so sweet. They're like involved in this heavy, heavy pack of silence between two psychos that are so famous for their art. I mean, talk about tortured artists. But that makes it even more suspicious. I mean, come on now. Something's going on there. And that is some juicy celebrity gossip. So let's bring it back, okay? Vincent, who has a problem with Anton van Rappert because he has a problem with Jean-Francois Millet, who in fact is someone that Vincent doesn't like, but someone that is admired by Paul Gauguin, Papito, who happens to be the BFF, AE turned frenemy of Vincent. That's enough for me for today. Ugh, it has given me a headache, but God, you tell me, did you like the gossip? What do you think their fight was really about? And in those letters, what else haven't we figured out? I mean, have you ever been friends with a redhead madman? And why? I mean, then you need better friends. But have you ever heard of any other kind of celebrity gossip art history style that we should know? Share. Put it in the comments down below. Hit that like button. Look at my last videos. Come back, subscribe, and see what piece I pick for next week here on The Art Whisperer.